Hey gang, welcome back to Joe Daddy's Garage. Today's video is part 5 in the Honda Civic rebuild. Now I've done 4 of the videos. The first video I did an overview and did a basic teardown. In the second video I removed the core support, also some other components. Third video started going back together. Fourth video I did some more going back together type of things. And in this video I'm going to do some more of that, but I want to do some test fitting. So let me tell you this. I had to do, I had to go find some parts for this car that you normally just wouldn't pick up at an auto parts store or, let's say, an aftermarket supplier. I ended up going to a U-Pull-It yard to get some parts, and I had forgotten all about this U-Pull-It yard even being near me, but I went there earlier today and I got a bunch of parts, and let me show you what I got for this car. Sometimes you need to go find little pieces and parts. Thankfully, we have a U-Pull-It yard. I'm here so I can find some of those brackets for the radiator and the condenser and maybe a few other little pieces. You know, it's nice that there's a place like this where you can come salvage parts. And I'm always amazed when I come in here. It's been years, but I'm always amazed when I see stuff like that. This old Toyota wagon, you know. I'll try to film other stuff that seems out of place, you know, if I can. So this is the first one that I came to. I did take off the bumper cover, but it had all of the little clips, you know, the brackets and stuff that I needed, and a few other pieces that I needed as well. I did salvage the battery bracket hold down here, and I was debating on getting the cable for the hood release, but the handle was broken off on the inside, so I may try to find another one of those or another car. But you know, I wish I would have remembered this place was here before I bought all those parts, because the whole front end of this car is fine. The fenders, the hood, the hinges, everything is here, and I could have just used original Honda parts, but you know, it's okay. I got some pieces that I need, and I will get this car back together. I probably should have looked at this one first. But you know, the hood on it is in great shape. I already have a new hood, so I'm not going to worry about that. Hinges, I could have used those. The color was, you know, pretty close. So, you know, I don't know how long this car has been here, but maybe had I thought about this place sooner, I could have picked up these parts and gotten them cheaper. But that's okay. Just let you know, there's plenty of stuff out here in these U-Pull-It yards. So if you need something, go look for it. It might just be there. Well, I couldn't resist. I did get the hood latch cable. I'm not sure if it's going to work or not, and I decided to take the hood hinges as well. Why not? They're here. I'll probably get them cheap enough. And I also took the battery box that was sitting here, because the one I have is mangled. So maybe it'll save me some time. So in the previous videos, of course, I did all this work to it, got the core support on, got some paint on it, and I was putting things back together. I also had straightened out the AC condenser, and part of the problem I had was the hardware. You know, all these little brackets and stuff, they're pretty specific. You're not just going to hand make one of those. And if you look at this original core support, these things are pretty mangled. Not much you're going to do, or not much you can do to save those. The right side, it did have some good pieces, and I was able to reuse those until I got to this side, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, what am I going to do? I was also missing one of these rubber bushings that go inside of this. So I went to the U-Pull-It yard. I decided, why not? So I went and I got all 4 of the brackets that hold the AC condenser and the radiator in place. I also ended up getting a new, let me move this out of the way, I got a new battery tray, because the one that was in it, it was bent. It wasn't too bad, but it's probably easier just to replace it. And you know, it looks like it was actually in this car the whole time. You look at the condition of it. Another thing I did, I looked at, well, let me tell you this. I had bought a brand new hood hinge for this side, and I had it on the car, and I realized that I needed one for the passenger side, or driver's side. So I had taken this one off. This is the one that was on the car, and you can see it's got a, oh well, they all have a weird bend to them anyway, but this was bent more than it should be. So when I went to the U-Pull-It yard, I found a pair of hinges, and I bought both of them. They're only like $7 a piece. So I bought those, and I put both of those on the car. Hopefully there's no issues with those. The car I took them off of wasn't wrecked, so I think that'll be okay. The other thing I did, I realized that this little connector was busted for the headlight, so I got another one of those out of that car. What else did I get? Well, I can tell you I bought a new nose, but it turns out I didn't need this. I already have that piece, so that's going to go back. Another great thing about doing this is whenever you go to a U-Pull-It yard, all the hardware, like I needed a bunch of these, so I took them off and I salvaged bolts and stuff that were in better shape than the ones I had. So a variety of things. There's a clip that I could be able to use, stuff like that. That's going to help with the project. But at this point, what I want to do is I will put the fenders back on the car. I will hang the hood on the car, put the headlights in. I want to test fit all of these pieces to make sure everything is going to work prior to getting paint on everything. You know, I don't want to paint something if it's not going to fit. So that's where I'm at. The other things that I've done, of course, in the previous video I mentioned, I have put in the fans. I did relocate or put the clamps on the power or the transmission lines. I did not have those on in the last video. So all this stuff is in place and ready to go. Also, one other thing I did is I ordered a new hood release from Amazon. $10. You get a brand new hood release, so I'll be replacing that. And that's going to be where I'm at. So follow along. We'll see how far I can get in this video. So my hood release showed up. Again, $10 off of Amazon. Looks like it's going to be the same thing. Dorman part. There's a part number on there. I also had ordered a clip kit off of Amazon. So it gives me a variety of these little clips. You know, if some of them were missing or broken, I wanted to replace them. I think this was like, I don't know, $7 or something like that. And it came with the little puller tool, which I already have one, but it's always nice to have an extra. So at this point, like I said, I'm going to be test fitting things. I do need to install the coolant overflow bottle. Pretty simple. That just goes basically down in beside the radiator. There's a slot on the bottom of the fan that this little square tab sits in, and then this bolt hole, which is right here, and then connect the tubes, and that's in place. So I'm just going to work on this hood release, and basically, you know, I've talked about the clips that hold this thing in place. You know, when you take this out, you can follow it, especially with the fender off, and you'll see that there's a little rubber boot right here, and then these clips. The problem with these kind of clips right now is you don't have any access to them. So you almost have to have something like this little tool to get behind that clip, get behind it, and just pry it out. And then you can fold these tabs back down sometimes. I do have extra pieces of this I salvaged from the U-Pull-It yard, so simple enough. But that should allow for this whole cable to come out. And inside the car, there's two 10mm bolts. Take those out. Once you remove the interior kick panel, take out those bolts, and then the assembly comes back out, and then you just back feed it back out to the front of the car. Well, I think it fits okay. You know, I had some struggle with that bumper. It is a little cold, and it is aftermarket, so I had to kind of stretch it to make it fit around the ends, and it fits okay. Now the fenders and stuff, again, there's a little bit of play with these because you can massage these fenders even after they're bolted on. It looks like it lines up decent right here. Around the headlight it's okay. Here it needs to go in a little more, and that may be just because I'm not quite on that bar correctly. This is just the insert that was there from the other bumper cover, and I just put it up in there to see how it would look. I do have a new one to go in it. Over here, again, it went around the headlight. You know, it took some pulling. This side fits a little bit better, and I don't have any hardware in this at all. I only have one screw on that side holding the corner. Now also this thing, it wanted to pull up, so I was kind of hitting the frame piece on the bottom, or the bottom of the core support, and you know, it matches pretty decent. Not like a new one, never will be, but that's okay. So now that I have, you know, I know I can get it on there, and when I go to put it back on, I'll have somebody help me, so I'm not scratching things up and, you know, causing problems. But I think that's going to be it for this video. I'm pretty confident that everything's going to work out just fine. And next video, I think I'll do all the prep work on the panels and get them ready for paint. One thing I did notice, and I'll have to figure out how I want to address this, there's a little paint crack right there on the edge of this fender. I really didn't want to paint this fender. You know, I kind of wanted to leave it alone, but I may have to just because of that. And anyway, just a little side note. But I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and I look forward to sharing the next video with you very soon. But until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya.